Late last year, Honda launched the latest generation Ballade in South Africa. And as I often say, it's amazing how with every generation of a model, they grow and they get bigger. And that seems to be the way it is in the world these days. Now, interestingly, in a market where sedans are supposedly dead, Honda have 3 sedans. In South Africa, we're talking, on the market. You start, of course, with the Amaze, then you come up to the Ballade, and then, of course, you've got the Civic, which is their biggish sedan in the market. So this is the middle one. Now, it comes in a range of 3 models. This is the top of the range RS. So let's look at some points and comparisons on the different models. And you'll see immediately on RS spec, you get LED headlights and down there, fog lights. That's a factor and a spec on the RS model only. You've got the very interesting fins and gills and things over here and effects like that you get. RS model also rides on 16-inch mags. The lower models in the range, being of course comfort and elegance, live with 15-inch mags. Well, don't know if it makes that much difference, but you come along over here, you can see quite resplendent in this red maroon color over here. But if you open up the back doors as soon as I unlock them, and you have a look at what is important to buyers these days, is the space in the back seat. And you'll see over here, a good feature on this car is the fact that you do have aircon vents in the back, and below that, look at that, 2 12-volt power outlets for the back seat. Now that's something that so many cars don't provide these days, but is here on this car. And you do also have ISOFIX fittings on the rear seats as well, so very much for family use. Very important factor as well. So these are all things that you want to look at in this market segment and keep in mind for the market sector. You come around to the back over here, and you'll see the very interesting wraparound tail lights, very narrow over here, but nice effect. And you have got even a diffuser effect at the bottom on the RS models. Also very important to note is the rear park distance control beepers you get over there. You pop open the boot, and 2 things to tell you. Honda's figure is 506 litres of boot space, which is massive. It really is. And then something I found really interesting over here is on the RS model only, you get a full-size spare wheel. Interestingly, on the 2 lower models, you get a space saver spare wheel. Well, that's where your extra money goes to, I suppose, on the RS. You can see the badge, and of course you've got a spoiler on the boot over here as well. All 3 models are powered by the same 1.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, putting out 89 kilowatts and 145 newton meters of torque. Pretty good for a car that comes in at about 1100 kilos. Keep that in mind as well. Let's check it out inside. Cruising along in the Ballade, you can feel it's pretty smooth, pretty comfortable. That CVT box, obviously, I mean, it doesn't even come into it when you're on the open road cruising. I'm sitting at 120 right now. We sit most of the time, I'm on a slight incline, but normally 120 is at about 2000 revs. So that's nice and smooth and comfortable. Just overall a pleasant place to be. You look around the car, you can see the nice big 8-inch touchscreen over here with all the features that you're expecting, and the normal over there, the leather trim, the nice leather trim on the dash with stitching over there. Just overall, you can, yeah, it's pretty smooth, pretty quiet. There's a bit of tire roar, but I don't think it's anything undue or unpleasant. And, well, it's certainly a car that I think you could very happily take on the open road and take a holiday trip or something, especially with that 500 litre boot at the back. It's certainly built to take your family on an annual holiday. Moving behind the wheel, first of all, telling you that, again, on RS spec, one of the features is TFT instrumentation screen on the dash instead of just standard. So that is one of the extras. But what I want you to look at is, look at that fuel economy. We've done 394 kilometers on this test so far. Yes, a lot of nice open road, I have to tell you. Cruising at 120 very, very smoothly, very comfortably. And look at that, 5.4 liters per 100. That's superb. Very, very impressive. I've got to tell you that much. You have a look over here, you'll see flappy paddles. CVT gearbox and flappy pedals, that you never know if that's a good idea or not, but there they are and you get them. Multifunction steering wheel, and the flappy pedals come on both Elegance and RS spec. All your controls you'd ever want, including cruise control, which is good over there, and of course your normal over here with one touch on the driver's window, which is again a good feature. You come across to the center screen over here, and you'll see this is a standard on the models, good to have, and you've got all your functions you can possibly want, very normal, but you have to go up to RS spec to get a camera. I don't know about that. On Elegance you get reverse park distance control, but you don't get the camera. Well, just showing you the differences between the models. Yes, you've got softish touch plastic across the top over here. You've got a leather effect over here in front of the passenger with very neat white stitching over there. Not the red you seem to be getting on so many cars lately. 6 airbags are standard across the range. So again, very good safety spec. And of course you get that across all the rest of the alphabet soup of safety features that you get. You come down over here and here's a feature I do like. You've got 2 USBs and a 12-volt socket right here by the dash. So good feature there. A button you've got over here that I want to point out to you is there's no sport mode on this car, but you get an econ mode and just normal standard mode. I've run it in econ the entire test so far. Maybe that's helped that little figure I showed you just now. But what I do like here is eco is the default mode. So when you start the car, it defaults into eco, and I think that is a very good feature. Your automatic gearbox I mentioned just now, it's a CVT. Nothing wrong with it in what I call a family cruising type car. So really no complaint. It's smooth, it's comfortable. I haven't pushed on hard in this car to try and fault the gearbox because I just don't believe you do that in cars of this sort. Old-fashioned type handbrake. Interesting. Just something that is different on it. And then I mentioned just now you've got your full leather trim on RS only and got nice counter stitching, and also the armrest I've got over here between the seats closing here is also on RS models only. So there are the differences between the RSs. This particular car, according to Honda South Africa's website, not standard the sunroof, but the test car's got a sunroof as well. Just something that you do get over here and pointing out to you to show you the feature of it. Well, price-wise, you start at $336 for the Comfort, $366 for the Elegance, and $396 for the RS version. I've pointed out a lot of the differences and what you do and don't get on the different models. It's up to you what you do and don't particularly want on your car feature-wise. I think it's a bit of a pity that you only get the reverse camera, for example, on RS spec, and that's something that would really actually make a difference to me, and I think that is a bit of a pity that you have to go to that spec to get that. But that's the way Honda have chosen to spec it. The other thing, a lot of comment I've been reading is on the price of these models, and unfortunately for Honda, and I've got to say it this way, you've got the Toyota Corolla Quest, which is in exactly the same category as this as far as I'm concerned, and of course you get the top spec model there for 330,000 rand. So that is where, again, I think unfortunately for Honda, where it's going to affect the numbers they're going to sell on a car like this. But if you don't want to follow the herd, you don't want to be seen to maybe be an Uber, where the Corolla Quest certainly does go a lot of the time, and you like the fit, the finish, and the quality that Honda have always got. You get a 4-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan in the deal as well. This new Ballade certainly has grown up in every way. It's matured, and it's matured well, like a good red wine. You're in the market for a small to medium sedan, can I call it that, with lots of space, and don't forget that 500-liter boot. Well, this is certainly a contender as far as I'm concerned, and especially if you are loyal to the Honda brand, which so many people can be. For Motor Matters, I'm Alan R. See you next time.